Good evening. Hey guys, this is Rick. Oh, I've been thinking of something to share with y'all today, and I think, I like to go with the bizarre first. And, I'd like to tackle the Judeo Christian connection, and I would like to say, of all things, it's going to be, it's going to be Jacob. Jacob winds up being probably one of the most promiscuous guys in the Old Testament, and probably one of the reasons why it's so big, in comparison to the New Testament. But in reality, he had a job to do. He had to give birth to the Zodiac. All right, that's really what we're getting out of the story. Otherwise you've got to think about his wife as being a barren woman, and that even though she couldn't give children to him, her sister and sort of a bunch of women could do it too. But you'd have to understand that her sister Leah, the sister, just as one of the names of the bunch. These are all names of things like like sloth and slow and dumb and dumber. In reality, because these names actually have meanings in the Arabic language. But anyways, when you translate stuff like that, it's just what you're seeing is you're seeing his wife as being regarded as the spiritual side of our mind, and of course the sister being our emotions, which is going to represent the left side of your mind. And the wife is spirit, and daughter or sister is shit is emotions. All right. So anyways, the way it works out is that when the baby making starts, one of the first children out of the group, his name is Ruben. Ruben, it's a funny name. But anyways, he actually winds up being what we would be considering as Aquarius. All right, because of as these children are born, all of these names mean something too, and they tell you that right in the Bible. It means this, it means that, so you can kind of correlate that, and people have through the years to the zodiacal signs. All right, he just happens to have two. Simon and Levi, he has a couple of twins, and he's got one woman in there, Dinah. She winds up at the end of the story, and this guy Benjamin is also at the end. But all of these are the tribes of Israel. All right, the lost tribes. And they want to equate them to just the sons, because what kind of female is not going to lead anybody, right? Because you have to also understand that there's this underlying tone that when you read the book, read the Bible, it's fundamentally all the females in the book are bad. All of them. They're not one of them. They're all degenerates. They're all chickers. They're all charlatans. They're all doing something. And to tell you the truth, ain't that the shit? Because the spiritual side of us is our feminine side, and she's meant to clean house. This and clean house doesn't mean clean your outside house. Cleans the inside of you, cleans you right out. And so if you got a whole lot of world of males, loving males, and and it's not a queer term. The idea is that your male conscious is going outside of the body and searching for religion, and so you got another male conscious that you're connecting up to, and that's what that is. So when you start seeing these things as being more electrical, and not sexual, things do make a little bit more sense. But if you want to believe that this stuff is real, my God, how crazy do you got to think that this most blasphemous, one of Jesus or one of God's most favorite guys, Jacob, he's out to populate the world, you would say, but that's what he said, he was going to populate the world of some kind, I promised you, so all these girls line up, they're ready to have a good old time with him. Well, anyways, to bring in some more of the sordid lives of this man and his times, when he gives birth to the first child, we talk about his being Ruben. Ruben, after the birth of like 5 other children. Okay, now that's interesting. After the birth of like 5 kids, he winds up being seen out in the fields picking mandrake roots. This is what any kid of his age, of 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, whatever that would be out there cultivating weed, of all things, drugs, for his mama. And so when he comes in, to give him to his mom his mom's Leah, and Rachel spies him and says, "Oh my God," she says, "Ooh, I want them. You give me those and I'll give you my husband," and she think about it for a minute. Give me your husband for some of this weed? Okay. And she just got up and ran. She caught him halfway through the field and said, "I just paid for your services. I get to have my way with you." And he says, "Okay, let's go." He didn't care, man. He'd been screwing all over the place, just having a blast. It's God-given right. But anyways, you can see that what it is that his female, his wife, he wasn't able to intercourse with her to give her. She's barren, right? All the Bibles that are going to give you the child, and she wants the child. She says, "Give me a child or I'm going to die." God. And he says, "Well, shit, I look at you, I can't get no kid from you." So she makes and finds all these other people for him to have babies with, and to satisfy his carnal mind, And she wants her baby. Her baby's going to be special. So they wait till the end, and then she dies after she has her baby. But, it's her story of going up, all right? Because what she does with that mandrake is she gives her husband away. She's taking and giving up the left side of her mind, the husband, what you love. You're giving up that skin so that you can get high and go up and see the Lord. That's all that is. That's all it is. There's nothing terrible about that at all. And you don't need drugs to go up there, so don't let that is just the way they were explaining that, because you don't need nothing to go up in there. You don't want to have something like that interfere. But but anyways, as it comes down to it, she had done her job. This is the Zodiac. You can tell by things, because Judah, the tribe of Judah, they set out and camp on the east side. And the east side on us, if you were to take our minds, the right side is the east side. It's where the sun comes up, and the children of light, if you number the children of light, they wind up being the speed of light, and that's how this information hits you, like lightning, traveling from east to west. It's see, I tell you one story and all these other stories kind of pop out of them at one time. But, this idea of having sex and stuff like that is not really about that. It's about the energies inside of you. And none of these people and none of these things really exist, but they exist as like an energy, and that they have some kind of influence over us, or they are switches that are available to us through certain frequencies when we shut ourselves down from the outside. So you have to remember now how this story for Jacob, once he meets Rachel, it's he is on his way from running from his brother, all right, who he just stole the inheritance from. And Esau has red hair, so Esau represents the left side. So Jacob betrayed his left side and ran up there, got what he wanted, got his inheritance, and came down the hill running, with his brother, and ooh, he's so mad. But that's what happened. So you're seeing him, he's running again. So he's on his way, and he found a well again. This is how he goes to meet. He looks and he sees Rachel and her father coming, and he tells his father, "Hey, wow, what a beautiful chick you got there, man. A daughter." And he says, "I don't have anything for her, but if you work for me for like 7 years, I'll give her to you, And then he makes a deal twice with them while he's birthing out all these kids. So, anyways, while he is having a wonderful time and giving birth to our Zodiac and creating the 12 tribes of Israel, you'll see that his story ends with him enjoying this time with Laban. Laban would wind up being, the father. He's, made this pact to look at light, to have light ahead of him in all of his life, in all of his thinking, and all of it. And he's bored out of his mind. He says, I want to have some of them spotted sheep, because that's what they did. They were, shepherds. And, there's a difference between spotted sheep and sheep that don't have spots on them, of course. And, if you knew what the metaphor is that these shepherds that are watching sheep, sheep is thoughts of the mind. Counting sheep, when you're counting sheep to fall asleep and stuff like that. These are thoughts of your mind that you're keeping track of. And so what you want to do is a good shepherd keeps track of his sheep. And, I can only equate it to an old story when I was a little kid in my room as a child. I thought there was monsters under my bed, and I slept. There was a big window behind me, and the big window, I just swore that if I got up and pulled the curtains open, there'd been a big old monster staring right at me. And, oh my God, what am I going to do about that? So these thoughts would be running through my mind, just scared me, just not even seeing real things, just imagining things, and they were manifesting as being scared, and that's the point of the story. That's that's a little side note of this, is that, he actually, he was preferring the spotted sheep, so it would show you that we were actually wanting to, it's our desire, our spirit's desire to really to live in the flesh and experience things. And otherwise, when you're with the Lord, you're just, sitting there, hymns, singing and planting flowers and being bored out of your ass, just, I gotta go do something, gotta get going, I want to get my hands dirty. And so he could put his mind on his flock, and he could, with his mind, make his sheep bigger and stronger, the spotted sheep that he did. So you see that anything that comes from the carnal mind is going to be a spotted sheep, no matter how beautiful your mind is, and no matter how beautiful the thought is, like old kitty cats, maybe, it's got spots on it. I can't help it no matter what, because anything birthed from the carnal mind is going to have spots on it. You just can't help it. But it also shows that we manifested. So, in some way, I'm having to rejudge some of this, because it shows that, I know I'm a creator. If I think of something in my mind, I can bring it to life. I build stuff. This is a sign. It's a couple of years old, but that's an old sign, and it blinks, and it's cute and sweet, but I've dreamt that up and then made it, so it manifested, but our thoughts can do it too. If you want to be mean to someone, you just think some terrible things, you can just come right out and tell someone something terrible mean, and you've done hit them with some meanness, and calling someone fat or doing this, or just overall meanness. You don't do nothing for that. But if you were to see someone give some money to a homeless, or to rescue someone, or to help, and that wonderful, that pretty, there's a sense of that comes over you. That's a nice thing, and so this shows you how energies actually can affect you, and they don't have to manifest physically, because your physical was like, I felt it, So anyways, real fast, to tie it all in with the New Testament, is the idea is that the whole New Testament is built off of the 12 tribes of Israel, except this time they got Jesus in there, and Jesus is blazing a path through them all as the Zara. He's the master of the Mazaroth, which is of course the Zodiac. So you'd say it would be starting at the birth of Jesus, coming out of Virgo, right? That's the beginning of the Old Testament, all the way around to Revelations. When he is in Judah and all this stuff's being spoken about, and he's being exalted. That's Leo. So you would see that it tells the story in the stars. This is when Jesus and all they say, that the book is written in the stars and in your heart, because it maps out the stages of consciousness that you have to take along this way and this path to clean out your insides. You can wash and have a good time cleaning out your outsides, and you leave your insides all nasty. And so Buddha and Krishna and Christ, they are all teaching you right here how to clean the inside out. Not just touching the stone. That's all it's about. And knowing something about yourself. To know yourself is to know God. And if you knew that you had these 12 constellations in you, and one of them, like me, was Aries. And I know me. I know Aries, and I believe Aries. It's part of having to know yourself. God has these things up there. And whether you believe it or not, someone smarter than us brought all this shit into light. And then someone dumber than us is hiding it from us. All right? So, take it or leave it. It doesn't hurt to go this way, It doesn't hurt. Just think that all it takes is a little bit of positive thinking. Bring some of this light down. And save yourself. Save some of the world with you, And build yourself a foundation that when they start doing all kinds of crazy shit, but it's coming. You just know it's coming because they got us primed. If they can make you believe the outside of this Bible, they can make you believe anything. Do you understand? So, there's only a few of us. We may be only just a few. But it'll be alright. Us few are probably used to being alone, so if there's only a few of us, we'll make it. Alright. Well, I love you and I thank you. And I hope you enjoy the story. Alright? It's not, the outside of the story is not real. No, these people never lived. You are Jacob. And, he turns his name. He gets called Israel. And he's saying, I almost missed this. Israel is not a Jewish word. Israel is 3 acronyms stuck together to represent this way. All right? Remember, things are smart. We're in the Mandela world where things are stupid. You got to remember that things were once really smart. The word Israel is Israel. Those are three different sun gods through time. You have Isis. She represents the female spirit, the right side of our mind. Ra is the male mind. He represents the left side of our mind. And if you can connect these two together, you'll get El. El is from the bull cult. It's the power. It's God. That's God. That's the part of God. I love you. Take care.